Hello, viewers. This is Michael from School Reviews, bringing you a new podcast from my seven called the Super Sentai Review. And like always, I'm going to speak very loudly, very clearly, and very slowly, in case you don't understand me. Also, I try to do my best not to preach hard during this art podcast recording as well, not to cause any art feedback as well. And also, if you're under 18, this art podcast recording will contain your adult language. Once again, if you're under 18, this art podcast recording will contain your adult language. If you're under 18. Now, if you're over 18, and if you get to watch this audio podcast recording. Now, with this and everything else out the way, let's get into the topic of let's get into the latest episode of Gozyuger. So basically, the episode starts off when we last episode, when we last talked in the previous episode. We see a black guy using mecha showed up and basically combined with some other mecha, such as so basically, the black guy using mecha showed up and basically combined with some other mecha, basically Speed or someone, the Seeking Ranger Dragon, the Seeking Ranger, Bear and Gao Shock and Gao Tiger fused together with this black Daijin mecha and basically Goodburn and Tegazord along with how Messin was having hard trouble fighting this fusion diffusion monstrosity. And basically, with no other choice, Messin should have said that, oh man, this is this this black diffusion is too powerful. It's best to retreat. And so basically, with no other choice, how Messino, the Tegazord and Goodburn decides to retreat, and basically, and the Mecha turns out that the person that was behind powering the Black Daijin Mecha was Khan. How his brother Khan was behind piloting was behind piling the black digesting fusion mecha and whatnot. So anyway, the next day, we see Hal working at a honey store, and basically, and Machino walked in, and he's like, oh, what a coincidence to seeing you here. So anyway, like what do you want? So basically, you came here to buy some honey and whatnot. So basically, yes, I came here to buy some honey. So basically, so basically, they were talking about so basically they were talking about who was behind pioneering who is behind that black diffusion Becca and whatnot. So basically, they don't know Kong was behind piloting that black diffusion Mecca and whatnot. Whoever it was, it, it's more powerful. It's able to feed for other mecha now, so made it more powerful now. So basically, sooner or later, we need to figure out how to deal with it. So basically, and that's the message. It's was kind of was messing with him about how you still haven't had any wish. So basically, was asking him. So Shino was asking him that, what is your wish? And basically, and that's when Hal had a flashback of that woman he met in the no one in the no world back in his kid that tell him don't wish for anything. And he answers, my well, I don't have so basically I don't have a wish. Therefore I'm looking for my wish. So basically that's his response. And Shino was like, hey, well, Shino was like, hey, you should just what type of honey, what's the most popular honey you got here? And basically, and Hal said, well, this is my first day. I don't really know anything about honey. And that's when Hal's manager came out and helped Shino pick out the honey. And basically, he got fired for not knowing jack about different types of honey and whatnot. And basically, And so basically, how it's once again how it's like, oh damn it, I got fired again. Maybe I should have studied up on my different types of honey and whatnot. So anyway, and basically, and the lady that he met in the No.1 world, in the novel in the No.1 world brand about where the no brands are from showed up, and basically turns out that her name is Miss Mind. So Miss Mind showed up, and how was shocked to see her again. So basically they started to have a conversation and headed back to the cafe. Meanwhile, we see Mashino enjoying his honey along with Kuma Bear, during his honey he got from the honey shop that he got how fired from and whatnot. And basically out of nowhere we see Corn try to attack. So basically, we see Kwan try to attack Shino while he was eating his honey, but Shino having some sharp reflexes managed to dodge Kwan's attack, and basically like, hey, like, oh, so basically, you're the one who was behind the Black Dog Jason Mecha that me and your brother was fighting yesterday. And she said, and Corn said, "Oh, baby, serve it and whatnot." And basically, like, what the hell is going on? And basically, Corn and Machina were starting to have a kind of like a interesting conversation about that. So basically, like, start to have a very interesting conversation. Start to have a very interesting conversation under the bridge and whatnot. Meanwhile, back at the cafe, the other Rangers were kind of nosy that this woman about how Lady Fin Miss Mine and whatnot. It's coming. About was kind of nosy in trying to figure out what the relationship between Miss Maya and Hal and whatnot. Is Miss Maya his girlfriend and whatnot? So basically, the other Rangers. So basically, Kenton, took their tea to Hal and Miss Mine, and basically like, hey, and Kitchen said, "Are you guys girlfriend and whatnot and whatnot?" And basically just came out and said, "Are you guys girlfriend? What's your relationship to each other?" So Hal explained that Miss Mine will help raise me while I was stuck in the no in the no number 1 world and while I was a kid and whatnot. So basically, Miss Mind explained that she was able to escape from the world just like Hal did, but it took her a bit longer and whatnot. And basically, like, and how told and how told everybody this is just we just having a conversation. This is not a date. And that's when Miss Mind said, "Why don't we just go on a date and whatnot?" So basically, Miss Mind just took Hal as like, "Hey, well, why don't we just have a date?" And basically, and left the cafe. And the other Rangers, decided to decide to tag along to help Hal out on his date. On a so-called date and whatnot. So basically, while the other Rangers were doing that, we cut back to Korn and Machino who's still having a conversation. So basically, like, and so basically, like, Han said, Korn said that, I'm a ring hunter. My job is to collect all the Sentai rings. So basically, for my master, for my Queen June, and basically explain his deal to. Explain his deal to explain himself to Machino, and basically like, and Machino said, start to ask him a question about that X on his back that is causing him some pain. And basically, as you know as you know Korn has this X shape, shape, wound on his back that's it's kind of like a wind tunnel situation he got going on his back. You know how Roku had the wind tunnel, you know how Roku had that wind tunnel that was cursed to him by Morocco and whatnot. So basically, like he's so basically, Corn, like, how did you know about that? He said, well, I have God powers. So basically, because of my God powers, I know about what's going on your back. But it seems like the only way. So the only way you can fix that situation is you is you is if your brother can help you get rid of that X shape, that X wound mark on your back and whatnot. And basically, Khan got pissed off that he know that Shino know too much about the X on his back that is slowly sucking him, that's slowly causing him pain, and basically probably sucking his body because it's like how a Roku's wind tunnel sucks up, sucks up anything. It seems like the X on his back is slowly sucking up his body and whatnot. So basically, Shino managed to get back the ninja ring and turn it back into go, I mean, so basically, Korn managed to get back the ninja ring and turn it back into go, but Shino managed to get the Deki Ranger ring and turn it into a blue ring, and basically, it's like and basically shit. So basically, Shino and Quan decided to call it. Let's call this a even trade for now. And basically, Quan left to go, and Quan left, and basically, the rest of the Rangers who was interfering with Howe's date was pretty much making Hal look foolish, but Miss Mind didn't mind how foolish that how foolish Hal was with being because of the other Rangers interfering with his date and whatnot. So basically the date ended with a picnic lunch at the beach and whatnot, and basically, like and so basically, it seems like mm, it seems like Miss Howe was about to tell how something very important about herself, and out of nowhere, Quan showed up and shoots Miss Howe, and turns out that Miss Howe wasn't a real person. So basically, turns out that Miss Howe wasn't a real person. So basically, no, turns out she might be a artificial being created by the powers of Queen June that has her own free will. So basically, we know that Tega June has the ability to make artificial beings, being like those, like the number one monsters or artificial beings created by Tega June's power. So basically, it turns out that it turns out that Miss Mon is an artificial being created by it was created by Tekajun, and basically Quan realized that, and basically she is an artificial being created by June and whatnot, but with her own free will, and basically Hal was not Hal was not happy whatnot, and the other Rangers were kind of disgusted about it. Even Machina was disgusted by Quan shooting Miss Mai and whatnot. So anyway, the other Rangers went to deal with Quan, and basically, in her last moments, Miss Mai said that I was born to tell you not to wish for anything. After I managed to come to this world, I started to have my own dreams and my own wishes. So basically, I want you to I want you to promise me that that you will that you continue to find find what you really want to wish for, and and follow through with it. And basically, how made that promise to Miss Mine, and Miss Mine, basically, start to dissolve into it start to dissolve into digital dust, and basically she was no more. And basically, Hal was like, Hal was very pissed off, and basically, like, Mashishito was like, Mashishito, she wasn't a real person after all. So basically, so what? So what? She wasn't real. She referred to me. She helped me out, and I would promise to, I will keep my promise to her, and basically, somehow, and basically somehow try to bring her back somehow. But and basically he ate the lunch. He ate the lunch that Miss Mai made for them on the beach and whatnot, and basically went to go help others. And basically, Messina was kind of like, I understand why. I understand why the Tegasar choose you to be the Red Ranger now. So anyway, the Rangers were fighting against Kron, and he summoned some Ranger clones, being he used the he used the 5-man, the Goggle Five, and the Turbo Ranger key to summon some Red Ranger clones to fight against the Rangers. How showed up and basically started to fight against Khan, while the other Rangers did with the Sentai Red Ranger clones. And basically how so basically, how being pissed off of what Khan did is like, Khan said she wasn't a real person. And so basically, you could try whatever, but she will never come back. So basically, that made Hal more pissed off, and basically he kicked the shit out. So basically, he basically beat the crap out of Hal, and basically the other Rangers took down the Ranger clones and whatnot. And took out the Ranger clones and whatnot, and basically, once that happened, Khan summoned the Black Dog using, fusion Kai Mecha, and basically, how summoned the Tegazord, and basically the Tegazord, and its red form, and its basic red, red Megazord form, was about to fight this superpower Chimera, the super chimera Daijujin Mecha. But and that's when Machine and Goodbird showed up, and it's like, hey, we need to put I know I convinced I forbid Goodburn to work together with his father. We need to work together to take down this mecha that your brother made with Daijujin and some of the other mecha and whatnot. So basically, the Tekazord and Goodburn about did a got tie together and formed the Tegazord White, it's on the Tegazord White burn mecha combination, or the Tegazord White the Texas white the Texas white burn Megazord, and took down and managed to defeat the Diffusion, the superpower up Diffusion that was being piloted by Kwan and whatnot. And Kwan was forced to retreat once the Diffusion mecha got taken down by the powers of the tech by the pow- by the no by the fusion version of the Tegasaur and Goodburn and whatnot. So anyway, later that night we see we see how so basically we see how in the cafe downstairs in the cafe, when the cafe is closed at night, thinking about his day that he spent with Miss that he's been thinking about his day when thinking about the day he spent with Miss Ma, and the problems that he made her and whatnot. And basically Massimo was like, hey, came into the cafe. I know that I know that she's looking out for you somewhere. Even though she wasn't, I know she wasn't well, but I have a feeling she is looking out for you somewhere. Where is looking out for you, whatever afterlife, whatever afterlife, whatever afterlife, her being an artificial being and whatnot. So basically, they kind of had so basically, Mesh, and how had a heart to heart, and basically, so basically the flower mentioned to the target took we tried to took, how it's fall and how it was like, I'm not having none of this. Like, hey, you're rich after all. You're all powerful with God, so get your own flower. And they start to argue over the flower. And basically in the cafe, and the episode ended on this note with Mesh, with Mesh, and how arguing over the flower that Messi tried to take from Hal and whatnot, and basically that's how the episode ended on this note. So anyway, this was a good episode. So basically, this was a good episode. We got some good character development from how this you know, and basically, and we got some good character development for How in this episode, and also we got some more details about what's going on with the X space wound on Korn's back as well. So anyway, seems like the only one who can help him with that situation is How. uh, As how, so basically that can help him with his X shape with his X-shaped wound on his back that is slowly sucking up his body and causing him great pain and whatnot. So anyway, this was a good episode. What do you guys think about this latest episode of Go Gozyuger? Good, bad, or just okay? Please let me know what the comments below. Anyway, starting off from Screen Reviews. 1.